Hello and welcome. This is Ruth and today's die set is called Champagne on Ice, and as you can see there's lots and lots of dies there. So this has 54 different dies in it, and the finished size of the gift box will be 150 by 170 by 120 millimeters, which is the same as 5.9 by 6.7 by 4.7 inches. And the largest die then is 141 millimeters by 146, which is 5.5 by 5.7, and I think that should go through a smaller die cutting machine. But if you like this kind of thing and you think you're going to enjoy this type of video, don't forget to subscribe. Now, by subscribing, I just mean to hit that little icon that says subscribe. It actually doesn't cost you anything, and I would really appreciate it. It helps my little channel along. And you can hit the notification bell to be kept up to date with all the videos as they come along. Now you'll also be able to find my affiliate links for everything I use down below in the description of this video as well, and that gives me a little commission, but it doesn't cost you anything extra either. And if you are enjoying it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and leave me a little comment if possible too. So thanks very much for all of that. Now I'm going to just give you a quick run through this, because although this is called Champagne on Ice, I'm teetotal, and I suspect that quite a few of my followers are as well, because I've had lots and lots of comments from lots of you as I've made other videos in the past. So champagne on ice and a bottle inside a bucket and whatnot may not just be something that appeals to absolutely everybody across the board. It could also be something non-alcoholic, of course, but if you wanted to just follow along with this, first of all I'm going to show you how you actually make the bottle in the sort of bucket or container and the ice with it, and then I'm going to go on to show you how it could be so very useful for all sorts of other things as well. I've got a few ideas and I hope that you really enjoy them, and you can let me know down in the comments what you think of that kind of thing as well. Now this obviously then is the lid, and you can see these are the handles. So this part here actually makes up the base and the lid of the little bucket. This is the side panel with the decoration inside it here. Then we've got a bottle that sits sort of at an angle going into that. We've also got smaller bottles here which sit just going down into the top, and lots and lots of little decorative details, labels, flowers and little flourishes and all sorts of little things. And we've got Celebrate there, and we've got Prosecco there. I'm trying to read these just back to front. Anyway, we'll see them as we go along. This one is Enjoy, and you definitely will be able to see that there's other uses for this. These are particularly really good little dies to use with lots of your other die sets. And then this one here would make an ice cube, so you can make that out of glitter card, or I'm actually going to try it with acetate, but I'm not too sure how that's going to turn out. But I've got the pieces cut out already here, and we'll see how that goes. Now first of all, I am going to go back to my cutting list, and that will tell me all the variations and all the amounts of different things that I need to cut. And I've brought out some silver card first of all. So it's actually a silver frosted card, and this one is called Luna Silver, and that's where I'm going to start, but then I'll move on to some brown for a different bucket after that. So I'm going to get the rest of my die cuts ready and I'll be right back. For the lid now, you're going to cut this large die out, but you need to take this piece out of the center here. So if you cut that one out first of all, and then you set the next size in and just use that for placement, and then pop this one on the inside of that and just eyeball that and make sure you have it sort of sitting straight, and then you can attach this down onto your die cutting plate and then remove this one, and that will give you just exactly where you cut that out the whole way around there. So that's the middle sized one. The large one then you can see here has the die cutting edge right out at the edge there, and then the middle one has it on the other inside edge. So you'll need one of these. Then you will take we need some little supports, so we're going to start off with this one, which is the large size, and then you'll see that you can have two more of those. That's just left plain. You'll take two more of those, and I just lift these out of the way, and then you'll take the medium sized one and cut that out of the center of both of those, and those are little supports to go around underneath there. And then we'll take the smallest die of the lot of them with 10 sides on it, and we'll cut out the small size. Sorry, I held the wrong one up there. So there we are. And then we've got the small one. So those will all be on your die cutting list, and you need to have all of those ready. Plus you're going to have 10 sides, and I've cut these out in the same silver, and there's also 2 decorative panels for inside of that. You can cut this one plain, and then you can cut this one in a different pattern or different colour to glue on over the top, but I have cut this one out in the silver, and I've just cut the plain one out in the glitter card because I thought that looked really, really beautiful. And that is Pink Frosting Glitter Card. The smallest die cut then is the actual base. I'll just zoom you out a little bit here. That's the base of the little bucket, and then you want to burnish all of these fold lines really, really carefully, and go ahead and glue those just in there, and they'll fit exactly onto each of those sides, and you'll just line those up the whole way around, and just make sure you have each little corner there fitting really, really closely. Now I'm using pearlized card, so that will be a little bit more tricky. If you're not used to using pearlized card, go ahead and use some plain card, classic card, or smooth card, or just whatever. But this is, let's check, I think that's 250 GSM, so possibly 240 GSM or 300 would be a good idea to use around here. But pearlized just takes a little bit longer for the glue to grab on, but it looks really, really lovely whenever you've finished. I've got all of those pieces on, and then I've given myself a little head start by going ahead and attaching some of these side panels, and that was really just so that some of the glue would already be grabbed whenever I came back to show it to you. So it's really just a matter of putting glue up all of those side panels and holding those together until the glue grabs. And as I say, if that was smooth card or plain card without being pearlescent, that would just take a matter of seconds, and it just takes a little bit longer because of the surface on this, the shiny surface with the glue, but it's not too bad at all. And you work your whole way around that, and in no time you'll have made your little bucket. When you see the glue grabbed in there, go back in again with a little bone folder or just whatever you have, and smooth down those little pieces there that have been glued down, because sometimes if you don't have enough glue on, you're just catching one edge of that, and this really holds that a lot better if you do make sure they're really, really well pushed down. Now when you come to the top of it, we're going to go ahead then with the little die piece that has the part cut out of it, and you can see I've already added some double-sided tape onto this, and I've taken the release tape off the top of it. So all I'm going to do now, I actually prefer to use glue, so I am going to add a little bit, but it's going to be covered at the top and it will be held well in place. But all you need to do is just fold these back just for a moment or two, and start off with one at one side of it here, and pop that in there and fold this over. Once you're absolutely certain you've got that in the right place, you can go right across to the opposite one and do the same thing. That keeps it all aligned properly, and then you can just start back at the other side, or whichever side you like actually, and work your way around until you've all of those tabs glued right over into there. Now you'll go back to this piece, and you'll need to cut 2 of these little die shapes and just burnish that over there. Now you can just add some glue onto the base of it, and that then will become a little support. I've already got one glued on, so I'm just going to show you here. Where these 2 pieces are here, you'll just pop one right in there and the other one right opposite there. So just hold that down and fold that back, and then you'll know that's in exactly the right place. Whoops, that's why I'm saying about the pearlescent card. It does slide about for just a little minute or two more. Anyhow, when you've got that in place, then you can go ahead and glue all of these little tabs together the whole way around here. And actually, the two on either side of that. Probably the main reason why that was put in there in the first place. So again, it is going to take just a second or two. So my little trick for that, as always, is to grab my little pegs and just pop one on each of those. It doesn't take too long, so it means you can sort of lift the peg off one and move it around as you're going. So there we are. Once all those little glue tabs are dried, then this piece fits down directly over the top of this, and it says in the instructions that you can add a 10mm magnet on each side here, so that would be just below these two pieces here. That will sort of show you where they are. I've gone ahead a little bit with this, more or less just because I wanted to try this out and see what it was like and if it was easy enough to make in video. I definitely would have loved to have done it in pearlized or mirror card, but it's far too fiddly to do with that. I wouldn't have been able to hold it together. So if you do have any dexterity problems at all, I would suggest maybe just putting a little D-ring, a little metal ring or something on there. This is really lovely. It's not very difficult, but it is just a little bit fiddly. I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. I was rather ambitious and cut it out in mirror card, but that's not going to happen. Okay, so you need two of these, and these two of them go together to make this, and then you'll need one of these pieces here, and that makes this part. So first of all, I'm going to make this part up because this is the easiest, and you'll see there's little lines on it there. So those are the little debossed lines, and I'm just going to give this a slight curl as well. So this is 216 GSM card, and I think that's probably just about perfect for it. And you can just go ahead at all of those little score lines and fold those all back, and those will sort of like hold all of this together. You'll see you've got one shorter end here and one longer end here. Don't ask how I found that out. Just a little late to the party the last time, but it worked fine because I was able to push it in below. But you do want to fold the shorter end over first and then the longer end over the top of that, and it keeps it all nice and tidy. So really what you're going to do is start with this shorter end, that's this one, and glue it across here. Okay, so going to put glue on, oh, where's my glue? One sec. So we're going to put glue on here and here and fold this edge over just like that. So keep it nice and tight in that corner. You don't want a big gap down in there. And just hold it until that glue grabs. Doesn't take too long, especially if you're just using card like this, fairly straightforward plain card. So hold on to that for a minute or two. And then just come over with this one. Now you can either go over the top or in below, just whatever way you like to glue that together. And I think it's easy enough just to put the glue on the underside of the tabs and put it over the top of that, because you're going to cover it with this long strip anyway. So that goes over there, just like that. So just take a little minute or two to hold all of those together. Make sure you've got the glue in there. Yep. And when that glue has grabbed, just put glue all along this length and put it right over the top, and that holds the whole thing together and covers all the little glue tabs. Just like that. Now to make this part, I have cut out two of these, and this has lots and lots of little fold lines on it. So there's a close-up of what it looks like, and on these little rectangles, you can see my finger sticking to those there. That's on the inside. I have put some double-sided tape just along the rectangles on those 4 areas there, and the same on here. And then I have folded in all these bits and pieces here. So I'm just folding those back to show you where I'm working at the moment, and I'm going to bring these pieces all up again, just the center pieces, and the same on this one. Now I want to fit both of these together, so the adhesive that's on the back of the little rectangles will go on this one. You'll have a little triangle on the back of it, so we'll just work our way around it. You start off with one. Now it's not difficult at all, but it's just a little bit fiddly, so you'll see that. Let's see where we are now. Yes, so it's coming in here, and in here it's the little triangle that's folded over the back, and again here on this one the triangle will be in the back, the next one round, and that little rectangle will fold up to the front there again, and you'll just work your way right around there, making sure that the triangle is in the back and the rectangle is at the front. Again here you want it level in there and the triangle on the back, and again here, and just work your way right around all of that like that. And now you can bring all of these over on one side and add glue on top and fold the other one over the top of that. So I'm just going to put glue, let's see, on here, and then that folds over, and you just make sure that you've got that nice and level on here, and that'll keep it very, very tidy at the end. And work your way right around doing the same thing. So that on there, fold over, and you can put your finger and thumb on and just hold them, and hold those for a second or two, and then you can do the same thing the whole way right around. Next you'll take this little die and cut that out 5 times, so that will give you 10 of these little sides because it has 2 on each piece. And go ahead then and burnish all of these, and when you've done that, or even just fold them back, whenever you've done that, you can then attach these all and form one big long line by gluing them together by the little glue tabs at the side. Now you can fold all of those little tabs back and set that down, and really just all you need to do is put glue on all of those little tabs the whole way around, and then fit this down over the top. So this is the other piece that you've cut out and made a little frame with. You might find there's a little gap in here, but don't worry about that. Apparently that's all fine. I've just read the instructions to be sure. And now when you turn this over, you can go ahead and add 2 little magnets in here, and these are going to correspond with the magnets we've already put in here. So I'm just going to glue 1 to opposite sides of this, and I'll pop that one on there. You can actually just use the little bit of tape that comes with those, and sometimes I do. I don't actually even know why. I've just put them on with glue this time. Sometimes I just add both. And then you can take this large 10-sided figure, and that will go right on over the top there. I had just come to sort of the end of this by the end of the evening last night, and I just put my orange plate and my white plate on top of that and left it just to sort of hold it down overnight, and it sort of made it a lot flatter and a lot smoother. And now I've gone on to cutting these. Now obviously I have decided to go silver, so this will be a lot more difficult than if I had just gone with ordinary card and not mirror card, but anyhow, we're going for it. Just excuse my reflection in it. So I've cut out the 3 of the front of the bottle and the 3 of the back, and obviously they're shorter then, and I've already shaped them. Now do make sure that you do that with something round so that you don't get a crease or an edge, and obviously do remember that if you don't have either the patience or the dexterity, don't even attempt this in mirror card. Try it in smooth card or something, and then you can add some decoration onto the top of it. I have also decided to put some double-sided tape along here too. Now I don't actually want that to be what I'm using to hold it. That's just to get a sort of instant grip, and I'm going to add this on here, but I do want, for longevity, I think I want a little bit of Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, and I'm just going to add a spot on there and there. And whenever I glue these together, then that double-sided tape will sort of attach right away and hold them in place, and then the other adhesive will spread out a little bit and should hold that as well. It's actually just to get the instant grab with the first one. So there we are. Just make sure you bring those over closely enough that you're not going to get gaps up the side, and then because you have already curled that with a pen or with something to give it a little bit of shape, there it is. And then you can go ahead with this one. So you're going with the one that's slanting down towards the center, right across, and then the one that's slanting upwards, and exactly the same with the other two and the other 3, sorry, and you join all of those together as well. When you've got all of the pieces together, then you can just join at the back to the front, and then you'll need to just pop all of these pieces over and use this little die, and that will cut out the top. And I've just cut that out in plain card, but you know, to be honest, it's really this surface here that's going to take a minute or two to dry. It doesn't really matter about the plain card so much, but anyway, there you are. I am now going to put that on there and just hold that for a few minutes, and whenever that dries, I'll be able to go ahead and whoops and take all of this off and then attach that straight on there. And I'm going to do the same thing with this. I've got the double-sided tape on there, but I've also got going to add some glue and then just put it straight onto the top and let it sit for a bit. I've cut 3 of these out then in the glitter card and joined them together, and again I'm just going to put glue down this side and make a ring with that. Now this is the cork, so once that dries there, and I'll probably put a little peg on that just to hold it for a minute or two. Again, I'm using glitter card, so the surface of glitter card takes a bit of extra glue and just a bit of extra time to hold, but it does look really lovely in the end. And then obviously I've got to put a little top on that, so we're just going to go ahead with this, which I've cut out with this little die, and I'm going to pop this on here. A little bit of extra glue in there, and make sure it's all tidy at the top first, and there we go. I cut an extra one of these little shapes and popped it into the inside and pushed that down really well, and then that meant that this was able to hold its shape better while the top was actually getting attached as well. And that meant if the glitter card had sort of been sliding around a bit, this was going to hold it in place in there. And now I can just go ahead and add some glue around the inside and the top of that, and attach that onto the top of the little bottle. Now I've taken 5 of these die cuts and glued them all together with one of these in to join them right down here. So they were all in a row, and then that will make the little collar, the little piece to go over the top of the bottle like that. But I've also taken another little piece here and added some, you can see it there, I've actually cut it in mirror card, and then I've put this little piece in, and I just wanted to show you, if I can lift it up, show you what I did. Whenever you're going to put that little heart to deboss that in, it's actually quite difficult to see if what way around it is and if the top, where exactly the top is, because it tends to move even as you're putting the tape on. So I just put a little mark there, hopefully you can see it, and that is in line with the bottom of the heart, and then I was able to set it on top of this, and this then will go on here, and then that's my little collar, which I can then glue on. And as I've been doing that, I've been just going ahead. Each time I put something else through the die cutting machine, I've been die cutting little flowers as well. And I've actually just, as I went to video this little bit, I've dropped the one for this on the floor, so I'll pick that up in a minute. But I've been making these, and you can go ahead then and double them up, emboss them a little bit. I've just taken this little mat and gone in at the back, given it a little bit of shape like that, press down in the center, and then add the second one in, which is smaller, but you can actually just put them in separately if you want. And actually think lots and lots of flowers is the best for that. And if you have any little areas on your bottle at all that you think you just want to cover up, it's actually a really, really good idea. If you have any little gaps anywhere, that's a really, really good idea and a good place to put them, and it keeps it all nice and tidy for you. So there we are. Now I'm going to put this little collar on, and I think I'll add some glue onto that as well. Not too much. That will sort of naturally sit in place as it falls down the neck of the bottle anyhow, but I'm going to put it over before I put any more flowers on. And there we are. I'm going to make an ice cube here, and I really, really wanted to make this with acetate, but it just was too difficult, so I'm not going to attempt it. But you'll need to cut 2 of these out, and then on one of them cut off this little tab down here. So that's that one, and you'll be left with this. And then start off with this little tab on the bottom of that triangle and glue that. Now you will have had to burnish all these little score lines really, really well before we do this too, so you can probably see that I've already done that. You'll glue that on there till you have that shape, and once that glue has grabbed, just go ahead and add glue onto this one. That then will get folded in here like that. Okay, and then you're going to put glue on there and bring that one in there. So what you've ended up with is a kind of little roof like that, with all these little pieces that you fold in at the bottom. That then forms the base, which you can then go ahead and glue down on. And well, I might put some shimmer, something shiny on top of that, because it probably looks more like a sugar cube than an ice cube at the moment, but maybe you'll just get the idea. Put the glue right out to as close to the edge as you can without putting too much, because you don't want it to sort of splodge out a bit whenever you've got satin or pearlized or whatever card on the base. But this is where you want to just add that in and figure out where you want your ice cube to go. Let's see, I'll set this in here first. Yeah, let's have one there. That looks really, really nice whenever it's all glued and all dried and everything all together there. So I've added lots of little flowers, and as you can see, I added some sequins because I thought they were kind of, well, kind of bubbly looking maybe. So there you are, that's the little lid, and it's magnetized, so it just pops back down in again there. And as I said, if you do have any problems, those actually look really lovely, and it's nice to make them, but if you have any problems at all, I would just put little hooks or something on there. But I thought rather than go ahead and make the other little bottles, because they're very, very self-explanatory, if you've been able to follow and make that one, the other two are even easier. So there was no real need to do that. I have made this little bucket yet again, but this time I used, I'll just show you it here. I know lots of you got this from the, and I've forgotten the name of it, Enchanted Fairy Village die set that was just released there at March Madness. So I used that die to emboss or deboss these little areas here. So I cut them first and then debossed each one of them separately, because if you do it the other way around, you could sort of flatten the detail and then you don't have as much detail and it doesn't look as textured. So I've made that up in exactly the same way, and instead of putting the glitter panels on and whatnot, then I added some twine round here to give it a more rustic feel, and instead of adding the little made hooks and loops at the side there, I put a little hole in it with a hole punch on each side, and I've threaded some twine through and tied a little knot, and you can probably see there I've just put some glue on here as well on each side so that that doesn't come adrift. Now I made the top up in exactly the same way, so you can take it off here. It's magnetized at either side and it's made in exactly the same way as the other one was made. But I know lots of you have got the Blooming Bouquet die set, so I used the top from it, and it's not exactly the same shape, but it works really well with it. That's its normal size, its actual size, and lots of the flowers from that. I cut it out in pistachio green and just glued it on top, and then I used the flowers from that die set as well, from the Blooming Bouquet one, to make the little top for this as well. I've added the magnets in there and you can see them at each side, and that just fits down in, and you've got another lovely little gift box. But I thought that would be a really, really lovely kind of spring decoration, a little bit of home decor or whatever, because that either kind of reminds me of primulas. I know it's not actual primulas, or maybe asters or something like that, but I thought that was really, really pretty as well, and just another different way of using it. So I hope you have enjoyed that. Certainly I've really, really loved making the base of that. Particularly has just so many different uses, because you don't have to use it for either of these things. You could even put a little topiary tree or something in with a little stem, and then the little a round ball of oasis at the top and flowers the whole way around that. You could put a little Christmas tree in it. You could put a little village. In fact, at one stage I actually had thought, but then I changed my mind, but I had thought this reminded me of a kind of thing I used to have in the garden, and I was going to make the top of it acetate and then put water lilies and maybe a couple of little fish down in there on acetate. So that's another idea as well, a couple of little plants, and that would be a little aquatic thing that I had in the garden, but a little copy of it for inside the house as well. Lots and lots of ideas, and obviously you can use lots of these panels and things on cards as well. Now I'm not going to do that today, because I think I've given you lots of ideas, and I would love you to tell me today what you have decided that you're going to make with this. If you're going to make the bottle or the flowers or both, or any extra ideas that you have as well. So thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you have, and leave me a little comment down below there. And my affiliate links for this will be in the description. And if you haven't already subscribed, as I said before, it doesn't cost anything, and I would love you to do that too, and hit the notification bell, and then you'll not miss any of the videos as they come along. I am just being very, very wary of this at the moment, because I've put the crystal drops in the middle of those flowers and they're not dry yet. So that's why I'm keeping that sort of off to the side and not touching it too much. But anyway, thank you so much, and in the meantime, happy crafting. Bye bye.